Hi, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm going to do another chapter from Fortune Killer, my book about a crazed clairvoyant serial killer. And just a few things. The SB that I call God or whatever in this is short for Supreme Being, but is known as the SB, not in any way anything else. And it's a chapter where Faith's two spirit guides, who are Fred Astaire and Johnny Cash, are talking to her husband, who she murdered. And I can't do accents or anything, so I'll just read it as it comes, and I'll have to leave out some swear words. So this is chapter 12 from Fortune Killer. It's called Faith and Lust. Although I'm not on the same level as Johnny and Fred, I've come to see them as friends now. It was hard initially, especially with Fred, as he wasn't the easiest of people to connect to. Oh, I know you're thinking, what, that cheeky chappie who whirled Ginger Rogers around the dance floor and had such grace and elegance? Well, it's fair to say that Fred wasn't as pleasant as he made himself out to be. I'd heard a rumour that Ginger Rogers was worried at her end that Fred would appear and take her over the spirit bridge and demand she dance with him. I think she would have preferred damnation to having to dance with Mr. Perfectionist again. My mum always said that Jean Kelly was the better dancer, and I believe she was right. Yet I wouldn't have told Fred that in case he became moody and tapped away. I needed him because he was a great balance for Johnny, who could be quite grim in his thoughts even though he was happy to be here. I felt that Johnny would make a level 5 one day. He really was that good. Johnny, the man in black cash, certainly had lived a life full, and he believed in the SB even though he called him Jesus back then rather than SB. I know now that SB goes by many names, and I wonder why she did that, because it caused an awful lot of wars. The SB is the SB, a rose is a rose by any other name. I'd become used to Fred and his incessant tapping. It took a bit of getting used to when Johnny joined Fred as Faith's other spirit guide. There was quite a bit of rivalry between them. Sometimes I was caught in the middle trying to appease them both. So, Fred, buddy, come along here and sit with me, and we can share a beer and see how to work together. Johnny sat on an old tree stump in Faith's garden and opened a beer. Oh, I know that spirits don't really eat and drink physical food and drink, but just imagine a kind of Star Trek-y thing where they can manifest what they want and experience it, albeit in a way that you wouldn't understand. He offered it to Fred. Tap, 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 tap. Buddy? Tap, 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 tap. Oh, come on, bud, we need to work together here. We're not so different. Tap, tap, tap. Feck off then, Fred. I think Faith preferred Fred to Johnny, and I think I know why. Fred brightened up her days. He was always ready to dance, do a coin trick, or smile a Hollywood smile. He never really criticised her or told her off. He just let her be, and she let him come and go as he wished. Johnny was more intense and had a more openly doer persona. He knew spirit guides weren't really meant to interfere or direct someone. Humans have free will after all, but he felt a sense of conscience, and he wished he could save Faith in the way SB had saved him. There did seem to be rules for spirit guides, and they didn't seem able to do much apart from pass on clairvoyant information and messages from Spiritland, with maybe a wee touch of guidance in there somewhere. I've heard rumours of rogue spirit guides who interfered with free will and went straight down to level 3 quicker than you could say Adam and Eve. It seems that Marilyn Monroe once promised to show a dresser on Madonna's Material Girl video what she wore in bed, meaning nothing but Chanel No. 5. All he had to do was slash the pink dress that Madonna was going to wear as a nod to Marilyn's Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend song. Marilyn didn't think Madonna was worthy and persuaded the besotted man that he would be doing her a big favour. He was seconds away from doing the damage when a level 5 guide stepped in dressed as Darth Vader and frightened him off. The poor bee has been in therapy ever since. Marilyn wasn't demoted to level 3 though, as the SB is a soft spot for her, but she made a point by assigning her to Sylvester Stallone's mum Jackie to help guide her with her psychic buttock readings. Humiliation or what? Stephen, buddy, come sit with me and watch the sunset. I always love the sunset, time when God is closer. Time before you go upstairs to your woman if you're lucky enough to have one. My darling June is here too, you know. Well, not here, level 3 actually, happy to be with her family and the chance to chill, singing to the SB. It's good to see her happy. We went through a lot together, and I didn't last long after she died. 35 years is a long time with someone. I was useless without her. I loved that woman with my heart. You love Faith, I know you do. Hell, I kind of like her too, but I wouldn't get in her bad side. You need to ask yourself something though. Is she worth damnation? Do you think she loves you at all? This plan of yours to stick with her through hell and high water would be okay if she felt the same, but she doesn't, bud. She really doesn't. I wanted to be a guide from the moment I saw June was doing okay and was happy. All that sitting around gazing stuff isn't for me. I need action and to feel alive again. I wanted to feel like the old me, not the old cripple I'd become. And I wanted to visit Scotland because my great-great-granddaddy was Scottish. So I checked out all the availables in the area and saw this clairvoyant lady who did those tarot card readings for famous folk, and I thought, maybe. Then when I scanned the place, I saw a sign for the Glasgow Grand Old Opry, and I knew that I'd find my calling. I planned to work with Faith while spending my time off watching folks singing country songs and having fun. Do you know that they even have gunslingers at that Opry? Yeah, they do. Fire blanks at balloons to see who's the fastest draw, and some of them are pretty damn fast too. Faith was my way back to country music via Glasgow's own Grand Old Opry. I just wish they didn't sing A Man Called Sue so damn often. Just think about what I say, Stephen. She's poison. You don't have to follow her into the ring of fire. A few days later, Faith was sitting up in her bed reading a copy of the Daily Record and silently fuming at the story about the First Minister and his wife. They'd been opening a sports centre in a deprived area and had the look of the Clintons visiting Harlem. I don't know why she continually read about them, as it only made her unhappy and unsettled. I was sitting on the bed next to her like a good husband, and Johnny was slouched against the wall on the other side. He was gently strumming his guitar and humming one of his old tunes. Fred was standing still for once at the foot of the bed. He looked quite good looking in all white top hat and tails with a white cane edged with silver. He knew he looked rather handsome and stood leaning on the cane with a laissez-faire attitude that drove Faith insane. We must have looked like a right weird bunch, and I had to put my hand in my mouth to stop laughing. That would be my spirit hand and my spirit mouth, obviously. Johnny strummed and lifted his head towards Faith. Peggy, darling. Don't you call me that, you old fart. My name's Faith. Don't you know I won't answer to Peggy? But you just did. Well, I won't in future, so just quit it. And while you're at it, just stop strumming that bloody guitar. Jesus, Fred stops dancing for 1 minute and you pipe up. Then you stop and he starts tap, tap, tap. No wonder I'm demented. And Stephen, just don't even think of adding your tuppence worth. Obviously the article had rattled her more than usual. I decided to keep my counsel and let the higher guides try to reason with her. Faith, darling, now I know you've done some killing and you're heading down that way. You're heading down the way, but there might be some redemption if you stop now. I know you want to hurt that Darcy fellow, but what happened between you and him was a long time ago, and his wife and kids certainly don't need the hurt. So what do you say we just stop this all now? You go back to being a fortune teller and use the rest of your life to make amends. First, I am not a fortune teller. I'm a psychic clairvoyant tarot reader. Second, who the hell are you to give me advice? A washed up old singer from the 60s, out of date and irrelevant. Well, you know, Faith, I'm not irrelevant. Some of my songs have stood the test of time. Your mum used to sing 40 Shades of Green at New Year parties when she was drunk. Walk the Line is still a favourite in country music radio. What about Man in Black? Its message is still as relevant today as back then. So no, I'm not irrelevant, darling. But this isn't about me. It's about you. No, it isn't, Johnny. I'm just fine. No need for heavenly interference from two lower level guys who can't get past their own paths. I mean, look at you both. What the F did I do to deserve you both? Other clairvoyants get angels or even Native American guides. Just stop that there, darling. Don't you put down those Native American guides or wish for an angel instead. Those Indian boys have been through a lot and have some great sayings to pass on. Angels are great, but don't feed their egos by putting them above all the others. Just remember that Lucifer was an angel before he was the devil. It takes all sorts to make a universe, you know. All I'm saying is that the SB, as you call him, must have known I was going to turn out bad, as I didn't even merit a higher guide than level 4, as you call it. No, I didn't even have one until later on in my career. Then I got 2. And who would believe me if I said my guides were Johnny Cash and Fred Astaire? I may as well sign myself into Daniel's mental health facility, in case you now go all PC on me. Just shut the feck up and let me get to sleep. Go to sleep. We'll just join you in dream time. You can't escape, you know. While I've been assigned to you, I will try my best to stop you ruining your life. Johnny, I'm a murderer. I've already ruined my life, so I may as well keep going and enjoy some recreational retribution. You can sing all you like, and he can dance all he likes, but I'm not savable. I've stuff to do tomorrow, so get lost now. I don't think Faith was very happy when we all turned up in her dream an hour later. It was embarrassing for me as her husband to find Daniel Craig about to drop some tiny swimming trunks and join her in bed. Dreamtime was probably the only place where James Bond was ousted by an ageing, boring husband though, so I quite enjoyed watching him wither in many ways. Oh, for God's sake, can't you just leave me alone? I was enjoying that. Just go away. Johnny smiled and said, I know, darling, but all that sex stuff isn't worth a bean if you have a black soul. Listen to me. Maybe if you stop killing now, you won't have to do so much time in detention away from the SB. Once you've felt it, Faith, you don't want not to be able to feel it again. It hurts. So why not just stop now? You might ever get caught and you can go on to the fame you want. I'm sure I could even call in a few favours that might get you close to Daniel Craig. That 6 degrees of separation thing can actually work. And I knew Elvis, and Elvis knew everybody. So how about it? Right then, Johnny, so if I give up killing folk, you can get me a night with Daniel Craig and cut down my time in hell. Is that what you're saying? Well, darling, I was a womanizer and I took pills, but I repented and did lots of good works, and I got to be a trainee guide, so I think there might be hope. Daniel Craig will be easy, trust me. And I could ask my June and all the level 3s to pray for you and intercede. So you might just get time off for good behaviour. So Johnny, let me look at this author. Can you guarantee that I'd have redemption and would have a night of passion with Daniel Craig? Well, no, honey, I couldn't guarantee it, no. That would be up to the SB, but we could try. Well, no. The way I see it is if I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. So I'll keep killing until the time comes to stop, and that will be my choice. Thanks for reminding me of the 6 degrees of separation thing though. I know Lulu, and Lulu knows everybody, so I can get Daniel Craig myself. Bring it on. This wasn't the reply Johnny had wanted. He shook his head and mumbled something about a crazy woman as he headed back to level 4 for some respite care. Fred spun on his heel and headed out of Dreamtime and back to reality. I stayed a while, mainly to bask in the love for my passionate, quirky, bolshy faith, and also to check that Daniel Craig didn't slip back in. That chapter might not make much sense on its own, but I when I was doing the dialogue for it, I quite enjoyed speaking it, and I quite enjoyed getting the edge to it. And so I always speak dialogue before I actually write it to see if it sounds right and if it can carry the story forward. So I hope you've enjoyed that again. If you want me to read from more of my books, I'll do some from my novels, but then also be doing chapters from my spiritual books. So if you like them, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. And even if you don't, I think I'm quite enjoying this anyway. And sometimes you might just need a wee bedtime story, you know. Many blessings now.